Okay. Have the circles work constant, generally as a concept?
Some to some extent. Well, from what we've seen, to some extent yes, to some extent no. Okay. We've had, we have circles that are very well organized, functioning properly, even taking disciplinary. I've seen a case of even a notice just here at bus station. The following people are not supposed to, but are suspended from this route. And you see pictures and names, and there are cases of proper organization. The question is, what then? You see, and that's why it's important for us now to think about mobility as a citywide perspective, and how we want to link these circles to cover intercity routes, so that it doesn't become now a cartel of we own this place and no one else can come here, and then we are back to square one where everyone is accumulating themselves, piling themselves in the CBD. So we need to think about how we can make them work together towards creating more comprehensive routes. People and NTSA needs to be more proactive in that, because what we see now is even the sector themselves going and proposing routes most of the time. A new road comes, you see them. In fact, first you see maybe some tuk-tuks there. Before you know it, they propose there's a new route there. And the next step also is, what kind of vehicular standards do we have? Do we have proper inclusive vehicles for public transport? I mentioned how people on wheelchairs are still struggling to move around the city, and yet these are citizens just like us who deserve all the rights. Sustainability. I think the governor mentioned something to do with e-vehicles now coming in. I've seen City Hopper who have a few electric vehicles on trial. How are we progressing to that, and how do we engage those circles in that? So they need to ask ourselves now, what's next? We always have to be asking ourselves what's next, not sitting back and saying, okay, now we have them, now let's sit back. Yeah. No, then you don't progress. Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the final thoughts. We're here because the question has become political, and it needs to be resolved, and it's now part of the public consciousness and part of public engagement. How would you like to see this situation resolved, Patricia?
Inclusivity. Let's engage. We've both agreed that no city is static, and we should change as the city grows. But let's engage. Let's create a good transition. Let's involve the stakeholders. Consider a lot of factors before any decision is made. Yeah.
Okay. Constant, how should this question be resolved?
Taking a planning approach that is both on one end participatory and open-mindedness, but also taking into account the vision that we want to create for the city. The city has an integrated urban development plan, and it does touch on things to do with transport, urban development, infrastructure development, environmental management, and the likes. So how many people are even aware of the existence of this plan and what it has for the city, and how do we now take people to that vision that the new plan has set, or the Nutrans has set for us, working together with the sector. And people should also not working in silos, as we said, looking at street design, looking at inclusivity, basically not leaving anyone behind, but accepting that we have to be ready to move forward and make bold decisions to move forward as a city.
Okay, thank you very much, both.